You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi everyone, this is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the number one way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis.
And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop. Stop paying for shave tape you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now? I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
Celebrity designer Jeff Lewis is back with Hollywood House Lift.
I'm excited to be working with new clients.
I'm not getting rid of that.
I hope I never see you both again.
An all-new season.
Those have to go. That has to go.
From wow
It's been actual nightmare.
to wow.
This is such an upgrade.
With celebrities like Josh Duhamel, Christina Ricci, and Gina Rodriguez.
Dazzle me, Jeff.
It looks like Chuck E. Cheese.
Stream an all-new season of Hollywood House Lift with Jeff Lewis. Now streaming on Freevee.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real life fighters, the real life heroes are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of a mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honours and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Outside of this one church town, there's a gold dirt road to a whole lot
got a nothing, got a deed to the land, but it ain't my ground. This is God's country. We pray for rain and thank him when it's falling, 'cause it brings a grain and a little bit of money. We put it back in a plate, I guess that's why they call it God's country. I saw the light in a sunrise, sitting back in a 40 on the muddy riverside, getting baptized in holy water and shine with the dogs running. Saved by the sound of a pin found Dixie whistled in the wind, that'll get you heaven bound. The devil went down to Georgia, but he didn't stick around. This is God's country.
And welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen, whether you are listening through Live 365, KLNradio.com, Spreaker, watching through Facebook, X, YouTube, Rumble. We're everywhere. I'm Rick Robinson. This is the Thursday edition of my show. Wow, getting tongue-tied there for a second. I hope everybody's having a great Thursday afternoon. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you are on the East Coast, it's just a little bit past the hour of 3. If you're working for the weekend, you are almost there. I don't know about you guys, but when I used to do the whole 8 to 5 Monday through Friday gig, I always seemed like I looked forward to Friday even more than I looked forward to the weekend, because by the time Saturday was halfway over, I was already dreading the fact that the next day was going to be Sunday, which meant the next day was going to be Monday. That's part of why I do what I do now, because I actually kind of sort of look forward to coming to work most days now. I never really thought I would get to that point, but that's pretty much where we are. Plus, it helps that I'm pretty much my own boss everywhere. All right, so anyway, wow. Get paid to talk for a living. Sometimes still can't manage to pull it off. All right, so we are going to get some things squared away here. Bear with me for just a second. Got to make sure that nothing sounds weird for you guys. All right, so before we get too far into this, we have to talk about today. So today's the 80th anniversary of the American servicemen storming Normandy. Primarily, Navy SEALs, Marines, things like that. And so Joe Biden tried to give a speech today. I keep seeing all these tweets from people and posts from people. Sorry, I know I still say tweets. I promised myself that when they actually changed the domain name to X that I would learn to say the new name. It still isn't working. I'm trying, but it still isn't working. But anyway, so I've seen all these posts from people that are like, I prefer having a president who's willing to stand with NATO. I prefer to have a president who can stand unassisted and walk more than 50 steps without having to lean on another world leader to get there. I prefer having a sitting president who we aren't sure if he accidentally crapped his pants or was trying to sit down in a chair that either wasn't there or we couldn't see. I don't really know. And this is coming from somebody who has mobility issues. That's not my issue. My issue is when, especially, so they showed the live shot of him getting out of the limo, and I had Riley Gaines post up about that, and I don't think I have it anymore. But she had pointed out that, this is either dementia or something else, and I'm like, technically all three could be true. So let's just go there now. But since we are getting closer to the weekend, and we do try to have a little bit more fun towards Thursday and Friday, I do have something that I want to share with you guys. It'll take me a second to get it queued up here. I got to find it first. I thought I bookmarked it already. Maybe I didn't, but I know where it is if I didn't. So hang on just a second. It's pretty sure I did, but I don't think it worked. Hang on. Sorry, guys. You guys on the stream are going to hear some funky stuff for a second, maybe. I've got to get it queued up so the folks that are watching can pay attention to it too. So bear with me for just a second. This is why I think I'm about to draft my son to start being my producer. All right, so we're going to share that screen. And now, this is actually this actually should be credited to the name you're seeing there on the screen. And for those of you listening, I'll share it in a minute. But this was put out just a little bit ago today, and I promised when I saw it that it was going to be in both of my shows. I do one today and one tonight. It may actually get played more than once on this one, just because, but here we go.
When you are waiting to speak and you feel something leak
diarrhea, diarrhea. When you look over at Jill and your stomach feels ill, diarrhea, diarrhea. When your name is Joe, but you really gotta go. Diarrhea, diarrhea. When you are waiting to speak and you feel something leak, diarrhea, diarrhea. When you are waiting the troops and you really got the poop. When you're wobbling on the stage and your sphincter won't engage, diarrhea, diarrhea. When you aren't honoring the troops and you really got the poops. When you're wobbling on the stage and your sphincter won't engage, diarrhea, diarrhea.
All right, so there you have Joe's Diarrhea, patterned after a grunge song, apparently performed by an imaginary group named Diarrhea. Anyway, so this was put out on X earlier today by an account that goes by the name, I'm probably going to butcher this, let's see, Shamasharan, I guess. Anyway, if you're not following them yet, you probably should be, because that was pretty damn cool. I have been told it's their work. I have not been able to confirm that through them yet, but I'm still giving them credit. And if it belongs to somebody else and you want credit, email me, and I will definitely make sure you get credit since we're using it. But anyway, so that happened today. So look, folks, I get it. But here's the thing that I don't get, and this will probably close out the monologue segment of the show. I don't really understand how an entire group of people can hate one man so much that they are willing to watch another man endure elder abuse. I don't like Joe Biden. I think Joe Biden in a lot of ways is a monster. I think Joe Biden in a lot of ways is a monster who's been able to cover it with what appears to be a calm and doting exterior, at least until recently. So I don't care for the man at all. But I also, at the same time, because I just had my grandfather go through this several years ago, watching this man deteriorate the way that we have over the last few years, and watching people propping him up and keeping him going, and then you have people like Joe Scarborough and Harry Sisson who are taking turns underneath the Resolute desk because of how infatuated they are with this man, that it is insane to me that this is the America that we live in today. I never thought I would say this. I am 51 years old, and I have never before thought this. I came pretty close under Obama, I'm not going to lie. But I have never been more ashamed to be an American right now than I am today. Not because of anything that you and I have done, but because of everything that the left has done to tear this country apart, while a lot of us have not really known what to do about it. And then to have this man, who is supposed to be the leader of the free world, who doesn't know where he is half of the time, can manage to maybe sometimes act like he knows what he's talking about for an hour, if we're lucky, has put debate restrictions such as Donald Trump cannot speak when he's speaking, that there will be breaks, which there have never been in a debate before, That is assuming that we still have the debate at all, because I'm still waiting for him to say that he refuses to debate a convicted felon. Now, what makes all of this ironic for me, and we'll be getting into this in a moment after the break, because I have some audio, but the left all the time celebrates felons to the point where they deify some of them. But now that there's one that we're like, we kind of see what this is, we're not buying it. Oh, you're glorifying a convicted felon. Well, that's funny because you guys are the same group that kept telling us that you want criminal justice reform, that you want to live in a world where convicted felons can still have lives after they get out of prison or whatever the case may be. And we finally start agreeing with you, and now you don't want that anymore because it's Lord Spraytan, and Lord Spraytan must be destroyed. But it goes back to what I was saying a moment ago. We now live in a country where, because they hate someone so much, they are willing to watch someone else go through unspeakable things. Unspeakable things. And I don't say any of that lightly. I need you to understand that. I am not saying that as someone who, has any skin in the game as far as what happens to Joe Biden, other than hoping that his ass gets thrown out on November 5th. But that's neither here nor there. That's what I want. That's not necessarily what's going to happen. When we come back, because we are about to have to take a break, when we come back, we're going to be talking about a few other things, like what's going to happen if we keep listening to the media regarding these polls and everything else, because it's just not going to be good. But I feel like this is a perfect song for us to go to break on today. So we are going to take the first break of the show. This is the monologue break. It'll be a shorter one than average. For those of you listening on the stream, the echo should have been fixed, or on the audio side. For those of you listening elsewhere, you don't even know what I'm talking about, so don't worry about it. You're listening to The Rick Robinson Show. We are live right here on KLRNradio.com. We do this thing every Monday through Friday between the hours of 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern. Now, that is, of course, except for next Monday, where I will be off. After that, it's the first Monday of the month, because I have to have one day off to do administrative crap, etc., at least once a month. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I pretty much only really take one day off a month. And it's my own damn fault. All right, we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Am I the only one willing to bleed or take a bullet for being free? Screaming what the fuck at my TV for telling me, yeah, you're telling me that I'm the only one willing to fight for my love of the red and white and the blue, burning on the ground. Another statue coming down in a town near you, watching the threads of old glory come undone.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis.
And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop-up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, and drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you. See you, see you.
Celebrity designer Jeff Lewis is back with Hollywood House Lift.
I'm excited to be working with new clients.
I'm not getting rid of that.
I hope I never see you both again.
An all-new season.
Those have to go. That has to go.
From oh, wow,
It's been an actual nightmare.
to oh, wow.
This is such an upgrade.
With celebrities like Josh Duhamel, Christina Ricci, and Gina Rodriguez.
Dazzle me, Jeff.
It looks like Chuck E. Cheese.
Stream an all-new season of Hollywood House Lift with Jeff Lewis, now streaming on Freevee.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real life fighters, the real life heroes, are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes, because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of a mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honours and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Night falls and I'm alone. Skin, yeah, chill me to the bone. You turned and you ran. Oh yeah. Oh, slipped right from.
Welcome back into the program, ladies and gentlemen. Again, the Thursday edition of the Rick Robinson Show, live right here on KLRNradio.com. It's June 6, 2024. We are exactly 80 years from the storming of Normandy on D-Day. And just to recap, Joe Biden bombed Normandy again. I had planned on having a video montage put together before the show, and I got distracted figuring out other things. So, I don't know. I still may do it on the weekend show. I keep forgetting I do one on Sundays now, so we can kind of recap that one on Sunday, maybe if I get the video edited together in time. Anyway, so we're back, we're live, and there's plenty of other things that we should be discussing. Let's see, where do I want to go next? For those of you following along at home. Oh, this is a fun one, so let me get this queued up. Give me just a second here, so we're going to do that. All right, so this has been fun to watch because I don't even think they thought of that. I don't even think they knew or thought that Trump was going to be convicted. Now they're terrified of what's going to happen now that he's been convicted. Watch this for those of you that can, and listen for those of you that can't.
It's great to have you here because just few people know the inner workings of the FBI better than you do. And you've also personally experienced the pressure from Donald Trump. And when you see him promising this wholesale takeover of the Justice Department, I wonder how you worry about what that would look like.
Yeah, Caitlin, I mean, I worry a lot about it. And I think it's, when you think about these things and you try to predict how Donald Trump is going to react or the steps he's going to take, you really don't have to go any further than listening to the things he says and does. I mean, his comments recently are offensive and horrendous, but they're not surprising in any way. He's been saying this for quite some time. I will be your retribution is his refrain to his supporters. So, you know him, you know what motivates him. He is not a person who's driven by principle or ideology. He is someone who's entirely transactional. And if he feels like he's been wronged in some way, then he focuses on revenge and vengeance. And so he's made it perfectly clear that that's what he's going to do. And in the process of seeking that, he is going to he runs the risk of really dismantling and greatly incapacitating the Department of Justice and the FBI. And that is something that Americans on both sides of the political aisle should be worried about. Yeah. We depend on those institutions to protect us.
Well, what do you think
and he is proposing to tear them down.
What do people inside the FBI think when they hear a comment like that?
It's terrifying. It's frightening. I have a lot of conversations with former colleagues, people who are or were in the intelligence and law enforcement community and may have worked in, the Obama administration, other places. And, people are really trying to assess, what is life going to be like if Donald Trump wins a second term? And on a very personal level, these are torturous discussions with their family members about whether or not they have to leave the country to avoid being unconstitutionally and illegally detained. People are actually worried about being thrown in jail or grabbed in some sort of extrajudicial detention. And I think, as crazy as this sounds in the United States of America, I think people should really consider that these are possibilities. Listen to what the man says. He typically does what he says, as crazy as it seems. And that's really all the indicators you need.
Well, it's great to have.
Oh, sure. So that time it didn't loop on me, so I tried to prepare for the fact that I thought it was going to loop, and it didn't loop. All right, anyway, so things to unpack in this. One, if every single crooked FBI agent left the country and fled to Canada today, no one here would shed a tear. As a matter of fact, I think the response would kind of be like this. Because nobody cares. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the things that I've been trying to teach people now for 16 years. The government went on a rehabilitation spree and tried to convince you that it's not as bad as you think it is. Shortly after Ronald Reagan told everyone what the 9 scariest words in the English language were. So the FBI started trying to rehabilitate itself, publicly speaking. A lot of parts of the government agencies started trying to do that, to put out this public face that we're still the people that you can trust. We're still the people that you should care about, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Except the problem is everybody forgets that the FBI, the first ever director of the FBI was a cross-dresser. Don't let anybody ever tell you that J. Edgar Hoover was wearing a kilt. It was not a kilt. He was a cross-dresser. That man had blackmail on everyone and everything in D.C. and everywhere else that had positions of power, and he used those things to get what he wanted. If you think this whole Jeffrey Epstein thing is new, that this has never happened before, then you're not paying attention. If you're starting to understand potentially why somebody like Diddy had cameras everywhere, then maybe you are finally starting to pay attention, because these are tools that the government has used for a very long time to exert control over the people that they need control over. This is why the out-of-control administrative state is a very bad thing. This is why the unchecked administrative state is a very bad thing. Because at some point along the way, the powers that be started shifting things around to make sure that there was an unelected bureaucracy that was always there. I mean, look at Anthony Fauci. How long was he in the position that he was in? Forever. That man was in charge of the AIDS pandemic when I was a kid. I'm 51. That man has been in a position of power for almost longer than I've been alive. That man was being paid more than the President of the United States. Now, also, I need somebody to explain that to me. How is it that there are people within the government who report to the President who are technically making more money than the President? Because I don't really understand that. Last I checked, Fauci's salary before he retired was actually more than the President was bringing home annually. And he works within the same government. How is that even a thing? How is that even possible for you to make more money than the person that you're supposed to work for? Especially when it's Fauci, for God's sake. It's not like he's, this paragon of all these good things or whatever. I mean, it's freaking Fauci. Dude looks like a leprechaun. I saw somebody posing with him taking a picture the other day, and he's like, I got to take a picture with the greatest patriot in America, Dr. Anthony Fauci. And I'm like, were you posing with Fauci himself, or is that one of his bobbleheads? Because it's kind of hard to tell from here. All right, well, I don't know where the last segment went, because we're already up against bottom of the hour break, and we have to take that now. So anyway, you're listening to The Rick Robinson Show. We are live right here on KLRradio.com. And again, we do this thing pretty much every day of the week, except for one day a month. And when I'm not doing that, I do other things too. We'll be getting into those on the other side of the break. Hope everybody's having a great Thursday. For those of you working towards the weekend, remember, it's technically Friday Eve right now. You got one day left after today. Y'all can do this. Keep your heads down. Keep working. You're going to make it. I promise.
Sweet like honey to my soul. Sweet you are, sweet you roll. Lost for you, I'm so lost for you.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis.
And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, We're also making new jobs. Alejandra, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you, see you, see you.
Celebrity designer Jeff Lewis is back with Hollywood House Lift.
I'm excited to be working with new clients.
I'm not getting rid of that.
I hope I never see you both again.
An all-new season.
Those have to go. That has to go.
From oh, wow,
It's been an actual nightmare.
to oh, wow.
This is such an upgrade.
With celebrities like Josh Duhamel, Christina Ricci, and Gina Rodriguez.
Dazzle me, Jeff.
It looks like Chuck E. Cheese.
Stream an all-new season of Hollywood House Lift with Jeff Lewis, now streaming on Freevee.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real life fighters, the real life heroes, are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes, because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of a mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honours and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back into the program, ladies and gentlemen. Final segment of hour one of the Thursday edition of the Rick Robinson Show is coming at you live right here on KLRNradio.com. We are America's podcast network, soon to be America's broadcast network, as we plot our takeover of Live 365 and start streaming everywhere, including an iHeart stream coming soon. We're working on that now too. First, we got to get the roster filled, and then we take over the world. Anyway, so we're back. We're live. Hope everybody is having a great Thursday afternoon. Thank you so much for hanging out. Andrew in the chat, I see you mentioned a story that I'll be getting to in hour two, so thank you for helping keep me on track as I try to fumble all the buttons and switches and knobs and all that fun stuff. Anyway, so without further ado, we have more things we want to talk about today, and this is absolutely nuts to me. And we touched on this a little bit yesterday, so I'm getting things squared away now, because I actually remember yesterday I said I couldn't figure out where all my bookmarks and stuff were. I guess I was just tired because I was like, oh, they're right there. I'm a dumbass. I had Red Foreman in my head. Dumbass. Anyway, so sharing the screen now for those of you that are keeping up with everything there, and then we're gonna go over here and make it to where hopefully you guys can see more of it. That was the plan anyway. There we go.
You can do pooled PCR.
Hang on. I hate when it does that in the middle. I had it paused, you psychos. All right, so this is Deborah Birx. You guys probably remember her, right? Yeah, Scarf Lady. She's got one on again. Scarf Lady. I really started to wonder if maybe she was trying to hide an Adam's apple or something, because she's always got turtlenecks and scarves on. I know. I'm being hateful today. It's all right. I will put myself in the corner after the show. All right. So let's listen to this.
That we're not testing to really see how many people have been exposed and got asymptomatically infected. We should be testing every cow weekly. You can do pooled PCR. We have the technology. The great thing about America is we're incredibly innovative, and we have the ability to have these breakthroughs. We could be pool testing every dairy worker. I do believe that there's undetected cases in humans because we're once again only tracking people with symptoms. When we did that with COVID, the virus spread throughout the Northeast undetected, because it took a long time to get to the vulnerable individuals. But in the meantime, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people were infected with asymptomatic or mild disease and never came to medical attention. We have to switch from symptoms to actually definitive laboratory testing. We have the capacity for that. We're not testing to really see how many.
Now, see, I was prepared for that one not to loop, and it looped. I think maybe it's a setting in somebody's account, I guess. Anyway, so there you have Dr. Deborah Birx, otherwise known as the Scarf Lady, telling us how we should be testing every cow, every dairy worker. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, I guess at some point it jumped from bird to cow. Really confused by that too. But hey, what do I know? But yeah, so we have the PCR. We should be testing. If you listen to whatever last night, you listen to Stacey Lennox, otherwise known as Scott's Fire on X, who is actually a nurse, and basically says, if you do the research, you can even hear the guy that invented the test say, if you jack the levels up enough, you can find anything in anyone using this testing. I think it's by design. This is going to be their attempt to try to lock us down again before November. I don't think it's going to work. Last night I was a little more skeptical. I wasn't exactly sure. But I will say that one thing that helped me change my mind was my very own governor, who just signed a bill into law that says that we can ignore the WHO here in Oklahoma. I'm very, very happy about this. There are some things that he has done while he's been governor that I haven't necessarily agreed with. There are things that I don't think he understood, like how some of the tribal stuff works and how the compacts work, because those things are basically like treaties. And he kept, I should be able to renegotiate them. I'm like, no, not really, because it's basically a treaty. Once they're signed, they're pretty much signed. But so there have been some times that there have been things that he's tried to do that I'm just like, yeah, that's not really going to work. This I completely and wholeheartedly agree with, because the WHO is nothing but a money laundering Ponzi scheme for climate change people and everybody else. And that's just what I'm going to say about it. I don't care whether you like it or not. You don't like it, don't listen. I get paid to give opinions. It's kind of what I do. But I also try to give you as many facts as possible at the same time. So listening to Deborah Birx tell everyone, hey, we should be doing this. This is because they're starting to lay the framework to try to get us to lock down. And any red state that goes along with it this time deserves to be made to leave us when the national divorce finally happens. Because, and I've been saying this now for a while, Jesse Kelly was one of the first people that I ever heard start calling for a national divorce. I thought he was crazy at first. And then I kind of realized that we're basically undergoing one right now, whether anybody wants to admit it or not. Because we do have all kinds of people picking sides. And Joe Biden is helping with those battle lines. Because if you've ever voted for Donald Trump, you're on a watch list. You need to understand what I just told you. Because he said that a long time ago. If you've ever voted for Donald Trump, you are on a watch list. If you're one of what Barack Obama used to call the bitter clingers because you want your God, your guns, and whatever. There was a third thing that he mentioned too. I don't remember what it was, but it was God, guns, and something. Then right now you're on a watch list. And it's not even necessarily because Joe Biden did it. It's because Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama have been the ones largely pulling the strings behind the scenes. Just saying. But this is where we are as a country. We have completely sold ourselves short and put a crotchety old man in the White House who has no idea what he's doing, no idea where he is, basically only gets marched out every once in a while when absolutely necessary. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets reelected, if he barely... everybody's like, we can't survive 4 more years of Biden. I'm like, Biden can't survive 4 more years of Biden. Come on. It's kind of obvious. I mean, this is something that I don't say lightly, and I don't say it in jest. It's not tongue-in-cheek. It's none of that. This man has been deteriorating in front of our eyes for 3.5 years. If you go back and watch his debate performances during 19 and 20... compared to what he looks and sounds like today, we saw this with Obama. Obama was one of the youngest presidents we've ever had in the White House, if not the youngest. I'd have to look it up. I don't have it in front of me. And by the time he was done, remember the Netflix show about the Bible, and everybody was pissed off because they found an older version of what looked like Barack Obama to play the devil? Barack Obama actually looked completely like that guy after 8 years. This job will drain you because you are constantly being called upon to deal with crap because we have made ourselves Team America World Police. That needs to change too. And those of us that are trying to change it are being told that we're the ones that don't understand how democracy works. We have to be the ones to save the free world. Ladies and gentlemen, while we are busily trying to save the rest of the free world, our country is falling apart. We have homeless on the streets that should never be homeless. We have homeless military that should never be a thing. We have people that are being celebrated with obvious mental disorders and being given an entire month to do so. Now, you can say what you want to say about homosexuals and everything else. Even the friends that I have that are gay understand that to me that speaks of mental illness because you are doing something that is contrary to the survival of your species. You can like me for that statement. You can hate me for that statement. I don't really care because I've said it to everyone, including my gay friends. And I used to run the gay district security services in Oklahoma City for almost 15 years. So trust me, I do in fact have gay friends. I know everybody, I miss my black friends and my Hispanic friends and my gay friends. I do in fact have gay friends. As a matter of fact, I'm just saying, that's just how it is. But again, it's the degree of the mental illness. Look, if you're an adult attracted to another man or an adult attracted to another woman who is also an adult, even if there's an age gap, I don't really care about any of that. Because that's consenting adults doing what consenting adults do. That is between you and them. But when we start getting into the realm of, I think I'm a guy who was trapped in a girl's body, come on, that's a joke that every kid, especially every male kid, used in the 80s. Because anytime, like late 80s, early 90s, you'd go up and you hit on a hot chick and she'd be like, I'm a lesbian, leave me alone. He'd be like, I'm a lesbian trapped in a man's body, baby, let's go. So a punchline became a fact of life now, to the point where there's words that didn't even exist 40 years ago that exist now, like cisgender. These things need to stop being supported. They need to stop being idolized because we are taking people that have an obvious mental disorder, and in some cases an obvious mental disorder to the nth degree, and we are lauding them to the point of allowing them to celebrate the fact that they are broken. And broken in a way that makes zero sense. Because if you hate yourself so much that you can't even recognize that you're not in the wrong body, I don't know where to go from there. I also don't really know where to go from there with all of the low-T loser dudes that are taking over women's sports. And then nobody else seems to want to recognize or face the fact that they're being overrun by the B team patriarchy. Look, I mean, everybody knows that going the other way is a complete uphill climb. If you go from female to male transition and then try to get into sports, you're going to die. Unless it's something like track and field. And then maybe, just maybe, you might manage to pull it off. But that's still a huge maybe. And yet now, here we sit, yet again, watching men take over women's spaces and then being upset because women are mad that men are taking over women's spaces. And those of us that believe in actual, feminism and femininity and that women should be allowed to be women in whatever form they decide to take, whether that's work and try to raise a family, or stay home mom and try to raise a family, or work and don't raise a family, or even stay home and don't raise a family. All those of us that celebrate all of those different things that make women women are being told that we're the intolerant ones. Meanwhile, you've got idiots with Ukrainian flags in their bio trying to mansplain to Foo Bunny what it means to be a woman and how she should be more careful about her choices. Pretty sure she's the one that decides what it means for her to be a woman. Not some beta male with a Ukrainian flag in his bio. Just throwing that out there. All right. Also, if you missed it last night, One Nation Under Foo is triumphantly back with KLRNradio.com. They are back home where they belong. That is Sam, otherwise known as Foo, and Ordnance J. Packard. They are going to be doing a live show with us every other Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, for about an hour. If you missed it last night, you can go back and check the replays later. It's available on pretty much every podcast site known to man, and also available on KLRNradio.com in the Our Shows section, and also on Spreaker. I don't know why I always want to say Speaker. Been using this platform for forever and still can't say the name right. Anyway, so let's see. Let's do another quick hit before we go to break. We still got a couple minutes left. Hang on. Let's see what they're talking about over on the Blaze today. So this is interesting. So this is from the Blaze, Dateline today. The United States government, quote unquote, knows what happened to Malaysian Airlines Flight 370. A decade ago, Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 disappeared without a trace. The official story behind the disappearance is simply that the government did not know what happened to the plane. They just said that the plane went missing. Investigative journalist Ashton Forbes tells Alex Stein, who himself was originally under the impression that the pilot went rogue and locked the co-pilot out of the cockpit. Now we have this pilot suicide narrative that's formed over years, and I won't argue that this has been potentially a government agency operation to get people to believe that it could possibly be a suicidal pilot when there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever that there was a suicidal pilot, Forbes explained. Meanwhile, the pilot has been ruled out by officials and has no issues whatsoever in his background. But Forbes has done his research, and what happened to Flight 370 is not a mystery to him. The United States government knows what happened to this plane, he tells Stein. From the information Forbes has gathered, the plane's movements reflect those of a plane with a fire on board, which has been corroborated by witness information below. They knew this plane had gone dark, Forbes said. They knew this plane was a commercial airliner that they were tracking on military radar, and they knew that the plane wasn't hostile. But how could they know it's not hostile, especially if it's been hijacked or if it's a suicidal pilot? But somehow they didn't even send jets up to track the plane, let alone shoot it down. This would indicate they knew it was a fire event. They knew it was an emergency event. While the plane supposedly crashed into the South Indian Ocean, Forbes had another theory. It's hard to believe here. I think the United States government has gravity and... Whoa, okay, so this is going to take a turn. This may actually become a juxtaposition episode soon. As hard as it is to believe here, I think the United States government has gravity and space-time manipulation technology, Forbes says, showing video footage of the plane with orbs circling it. Forbes tells Stein the orbs are trying to map the plane to figure out exactly how big the singularity needs to be. Then there's a zap, and the orbs disappear along with the plane. I'm so convinced that what we're seeing here is essentially some kind of wormhole, Forbes concludes. How long is this clip? Hang on. I'm curious.
The Federal
Oh, no, too long.
Reserve Bank of New York.
Yep. Hang on. I think it's too long. I think before it changed over to the ad, I think it said it was like 20 minutes long. I'm curious now. Oh, no, it's like an entire show, so it has like an hour and 5 minutes long. We definitely ain't doing that. All right, anyway, sorry, I was just curious. I wanted to see something. I was like, if that's a short enough clip, we may actually hear this crazy stuff in his own words. But anyway, we have definitely hit the bottom of the hour mark, so we're going to have to take a break. Let me get that set up here, because probably shouldn't have actually done the quick hit, because now I'm over my mark, but it is what it is. Why not? We'll go out with some more Foo Fighters. Kind of in a mood for them today. All right, you're listening to The Rick Robinson Show live right here on KLRMradio.com. We'll be back. Hour 2 coming at you on the other side of the break. Remember, we are America's podcast network. Stay tuned.
You gave me something that I didn't have, but had no use. I was too weak to give in, too strong to lose. My heart is under arrest again, but I break loose. My head is giving me life or death, but I can't choose. I swear I'll never give in. I refuse.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis.
And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you, see you, see you.
Celebrity designer Jeff Lewis is back with Hollywood House Lift.
I'm excited to be working with new clients.
I'm not getting rid of that.
I hope I never see you both again.
An all-new season.
Those have to go. That has to go.
From oh, wow,
It's been an actual nightmare.
to oh, wow.
This is such an upgrade.
With celebrities like Josh Duhamel, Christina Ricci, and Gina Rodriguez.
Dazzle me, Jeff.
It looks like Chuck E. Cheese.
Stream an all-new season of Hollywood House Lift with Jeff Lewis, now streaming on Freevee.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real life fighters, the real life heroes, are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of a mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honours and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq, Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
And welcome back into the Rick Robinson Show, the Thursday edition. For those of you working for the weekend, if you're on the East Coast, you got a little less than an hour till it's almost your Friday, almost, sort of. Once you get through tonight, anyway. All right, so gonna have to take a turn for the next part of the show. This was actually something that came across my feed earlier today. For those of you following along on the video feed, I'm going to try to let you follow along with the story. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But we're going to try it and see what it does. So hang on just a second. All right. So if you are able to follow along, you should see that this is the Tennessee Star. So you can read her name if you're following along on the video feeds. I will not be saying her name. Anyway. So the Covenant Killer wrote 3 pages in her journal about my imaginary penis. You heard me. Sometimes even trying to do this professionally. Anybody remember that episode of Hank Hill where Peggy realizes she's been called in to be the substitute teacher, not for Spanish class, which is what she's used to, but as the sex ed teacher. So she's like 10 minutes in the mirror, trying to psych herself up to being able to say the word penis. I've been doing this now for 16 years. And occasionally even I'm like, I really don't have to say that word. Anyway, but so anyway. I used to laugh. Now I kind of don't because I kind of get it now. So Covenant Skull Killer, a biological female who identified as a transgender male at the time of her March 27, 2023 attack, wrote a 3-page journal entry titled My Imaginary Penis that was included in the writings recovered from her vehicle. The Tennessee Star confirmed on Wednesday it obtained nearly 4 dozen pages of her writings from a source familiar with the Covenant investigation, including the March 11, 2023 entry discussing her desire to have male anatomy. Her diary or journal entry begins with the title My Imaginary Penis and also included a crude drawing. My penis exists in my head. I swear to God, I'm a male, she wrote in the diary or journal recovered by police. She then wrote about her desire to have a penis for the purpose of heterosexual sex with a woman. While the entry is sexually explicit in nature, she also wrote about her experience using the name Aiden, which she began using during her transition. She explained that using the name on a job application for a delivery position resulted in issues with the company's background check. She also described being raised a girl as torture, as she claimed she feared being called a word you're not supposed to say in Pride Month or another word you're not supposed to say during Pride Month during high school before feeling liberated in college and eventually learning about transgenderism in her early 20s. I finally found the answer, that changing one's gender is possible, she wrote before claiming her mother opposed the idea. She explained what she believes, how she grew up conservatively, and that the alphabet mafia, especially transgender, was an enigma nearly non-existent. About her parents, she added, I hate parental views. How my mom sees me as a daughter and she'd not bear to want to lose that daughter because a son would be the death of her. On the second page of the entry, Hale continued to disparage her parents for their alleged refusal to support her transition, but also wrote about the advent of puberty blockers in 2007. I'd kill to have those resources. 2007 was the birth of puberty blockers and a newfound discovery for treatment for non-conforming transgender children, she wrote. She then acknowledged I was in the 6th grade. Puberty already hit me. At the bottom of the second page and into the third, she revealed that she fantasized about experiencing intercourse as a man by creating scenes with her stuffed animals. Sorry, this part's contractually required now, and it almost makes me feel dirty.
Giggity giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
Stuffed animal porn. Oh, Lord. I can pretend to be them and to do things boys do and experience my boy self as Tony, which she explained is her stuffed boy doll, which she wrote is like the boy I am in another form. In the entry, Hale proceeded to describe simulating intercourse between the stuffed boy doll and another stuffed animal over the course of hours. According to Hale, she began taking photos of the fantasy enactment and became so enamored that she lost track of time and could not visit the gym. God, I am such a pervert, she wrote. I waste too much time in my fantasies. You are, or you were, in fact, a pervert, and you did, in fact, spend way too much time in your fantasies. Wait, did I say that out loud? Hale wrote the entry just 16 days before committing her attack on the Covenant schools, which claimed the lives of 3 9-year-old students and 3 adults. Star News Digital Media Inc., which owns and operates the Star and Publications editor-in-chief Michael Patrick, Leah, are plaintiffs in lawsuits seeking to compel the Metro Nashville Police Department and the FBI to release her writings, including those that have been called a manifesto. Why are they going out of their way to protect these people? This is the thing that I don't think I'm ever going to understand. I don't understand the need or the desire to protect these people. And I know that this is an unpopular opinion. And I stand by that opinion anyway, because if it was popular, it wouldn't be me. But at the same time, I really don't understand why we continue to celebrate people that are mentally broken. I can understand wanting to love them. I can understand wanting to support them. I really can. But I cannot understand this desire to elevate them, to venerate them, to make them feel like they are more than human because they're doing something so brave. No, it's not bravery. They're broken. You guys may not like hearing it. Most people don't like the truth. I get that. I didn't like the truth when I was first coming to the truth about a great many things. But it was still something that I needed to hear. That's where we are today. Whether anybody wants us to be there or not is a question for another day, because lucky for you guys, we're up against another break. This one will be a little bit shorter than the top of the hour, but we do still have to take one. Let's see. You know what? I know what we're going to break with. Hang on. All right, so we are getting ready to take a break. As far as what we're going to break with, if you know, you know, and you know why. But you're listening to the Rick Robinson Show live right here on KLRradio.com. We're going to let this one play for a bit, and we'll be right back. R.I.P., bro.
Safe, dance. We can dance if we want to. We can leave your friends behind. 'Cause your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well, they're no friends of mine. I say we can go where we want to, a place where they will never find. And we can act like we come from out of this world, leave the real one far behind. And we can dance. We can dance if we want to. We can leave your friends behind. 'Cause your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well, they're no friends of mine. See, we can go where we want to, place where they will never find. And we can act like we come from out of this world, leave the real one far behind. We can dance. and so am I. And we can dress real neat from our hearts to our feet and surprise them with a victory cry. Say, we can act if we want to, if we don't, nobody will. And you can act real rude and totally removed, and I can act like an imbecile. And say, we can dance, everything's out of control. We can dance, so doing it from pole to pole. We can dance, everybody look at your hands.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis.
And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you, see you, see you.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Celebrity designer Jeff Lewis is back with Hollywood House Lift.
I'm excited to be working with new clients.
I'm not getting rid of that.
I hope I never see you both again.
An all-new season.
Those have to go. That has to go.
From oh, wow,
It's been an actual nightmare.
to oh, wow.
This is such an upgrade.
With celebrities like Josh Duhamel, Christina Ricci, and Gina Rodriguez.
Dazzle me, Jeff.
It looks like Chuck E. Cheese.
Stream an all-new season of Hollywood House Lift with Jeff Lewis, now streaming on Freevee.
Engines pumping and thumping in time. The green light flashes, the flags go up. Churning and burning, they yearn for the cup. They deftly maneuver and muscle for rank. Fuel burning fast on an empty tank. Reckless and wild, they pour through the turns. Their prowess is potent and secretly stern. As they speed through the finish, the flags go down. The fans get up and they get out of town. The arena is empty, except for one man still driving and striving as fast as he can. The sun has gone down and the moon has come up. And long ago somebody left with the cup. But he's driving and striving and hugging the turns and thinking of someone for whom he still burns. He's going the distance. He's going for speed. She's all alone in a time of need. Because he's racing and pacing and plotting the course.
Welcome back into the program, ladies and gentlemen. For some reason, every time I hear this song anymore, I think of Harry Sisson trying to sneak into the Oval Office and hide under the Resolute desk. I'm just saying. All right, so we're back. We're live, and I'm probably going to hell for that comment. But for those of you who are concerned, I will save you a seat. Make sure it's shined up real nice. Anyway, so we're back. We're live. It's the Rick Robinson Show live right here on KLRnradio.com. And again, we do this thing pretty much every day of the week, Monday through Friday, between the hours of 3 p.m., 5 p.m. Eastern. That is except for one Monday of the month, and this month it will be this coming Monday, so I will not be live this Monday. After that, it should shift to the first Monday of the month for the near future. And yes, for those of you that are wondering, the reason I make such a big deal about that is because it is pretty much my only day off. Hi, my name's Rick. I'm a workaholic, and my last meeting's was forever ago. All right, so speaking of working, we should probably get back to it now, huh? Anyway, so can I just say this is going to end badly? I'm just gonna call it now. This is going to end badly. This is from Libs of TikTok, and we're gonna get it maximized for those of you paying attention on the streams. But I want you to hear this. I'm not even gonna comment yet. I just want you to hear this, and we'll talk about where this is and why this is a terrible, terrible idea.
We're definitely a pioneer in this approach.
A tentative plan to send a team of unarmed social workers to some emergency 911 calls in Cambridge could officially be rolled out as soon as next month, says Liz Speakman, director of the city's new Community Assistance Response and Engagement.
Having an unarmed civilian with experience in mental health going to mental health calls is really the right response.
Speakman tells us that the 5 members of the CARE team have extensive backgrounds as social workers and first responders. Unlike some other alternative response programs recently deployed in other cities across the country, the CARE team will not be accompanied by police when they are sent to nonviolent mental health-related calls.
If anything goes wrong, if there's any safety concerns, they can radio for assistance immediately and get backup right away.
It's an opportunity for us to help fix a system that's been broken for a really long time.
CARE team member Marie Matthew is eager to start responding to emergencies that are presently handled by police with guns.
I think this program is an opportunity for us to take care of the people that we are trained to take care of.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is an absolutely horrible, terrible, no good, very bad idea. I'm just saying. Look, I get it. It's sexy on TV, right? So there's a show called Station 19 that was a spinoff of, can't even think of the name of the show. Oh, Grey's Anatomy. And so it's a spinoff of that. It was on for 7 seasons until I believe this past week, or it's about to be its last episode if it hasn't aired already. So they toyed around with the same idea, right? Like putting together, I think they even called it the same thing. Some sort of a care team that would respond from the fire department for mental health calls, etc. And, there would be, mental health professionals, etc. that would roll onto the scene with them. Look, I get it. We're all trying to figure out how to deal with a world that's gone crazy. I do completely understand that. But the idea that you're going to send people into quote-unquote non-violent situations without immediate police backup is insane. Look, I don't care. If I were the chief of police, the commissioner, or whatever the hell rank the highest ranking police officer in that town could possibly have, I would have somebody monitoring their scanner and make sure that a unit was at least within 50 to 100 yards of anywhere that they were going, even if they couldn't see them. Because this whole idea of, well, if anything goes sideways or if it escalates, they'll have access to a radio and can immediately call for backup. Having been somebody that's been in a situation where you've needed to call for backup, 5 minutes feels like 50 years. And it's also an eternity. And the same people that are telling you that social workers or people that are trained in mental health fields and social worker training, etc., should be able to go into quote-unquote nonviolent situations are the same ones that are trying to convince you that cops shoot people at traffic stops on purpose. I had this discussion with someone a week or so ago, and I tried to explain this repeatedly to other people that came onto this thread, and they just weren't getting it because they don't want to understand it. The police follow a basic set of training that they have been taught how to do things because it works. one of the things, and this is coming from somebody that used to carry a gun and wear a badge, one of the things that pisses me off the most is hearing people that have never even tried to do any type of work like this at all, even if it was, as they call them in New York, square badges, trying to tell people how they should do that job. Makes no sense. Until you've done it, you don't know. And this whole idea that there are these routine traffic stops, you hear this all the time on the news. Well, it was a routine traffic stop gone wrong. There's no such thing as a routine traffic stop. You do not know what you are walking up on. And it's just that's just the truth of it. You do not know. And if you're already initiating a traffic stop, that usually means they've already done something wrong, even if it was something minor, like busted taillight, expired tag, only one headlight working, those kind of things. Those are still city ordinance violations, and those have to be addressed. It's what the cop finds when they start doing all of the things that they're required to do during a traffic stop that can lead to bad situations. And that is a reaction of the person on the other end of the spectrum as much as it is the cops. And I'm tired of cops being vilified. It's just stupid. But this whole idea that we're going to put social workers in harm's way because we're trying to prove that, we can do what we need to do without having to involve the cops. Well, maybe you can. Something tells me it's not going to go well, though. I'm just saying. All right, so that was cut number 1 for this part of the show. Let's see. Dang, we're already inside the last half hour. You know what? I think we may wind up skipping the last break. I can do that. They can't yell at me too much. I mean, it's my network. Nobody can really yell at me anyway. All right, so because we still got some stuff I want to talk about before we get to the end of it. So let's move on to the next cut. Hang on. And then I've got other stories too. So let's go back over here. I don't know why that bookmark tab sometimes kind of hides from me. Did I get through all of them? I think I might have actually gotten through all of them. Oh, no, I didn't. This was one of the ones I wanted to talk about yesterday, and I couldn't find it. Actually, there's 2, so we're going to get these queued up, so hang on. I knew I had more. I think I kind of touched on this one a little bit yesterday, but I don't really feel like I did it justice because I got frustrated because I couldn't find the clip. So let's do that. Let's do this. Then we go here. Then we go there. Then we do this.
For 3 years, we have watched President Biden push on a door that has been clearly marked pull. He's mismanaged Congress, COVID, the national debt, the economy, inflation, crime, Afghanistan, Iran, the war in Gaza, the war in Ukraine, and now, of course, the border. And every time, I think the president has hit rock bottom. He has managed to find a shovel and continue to dig. Hence, this executive order. And I think that's what the American people see. The first question I would ask President Biden is this. It's a little late, isn't it, Mr. President? It's a little late. You can't make this cat walk backwards. The president's border policies have allowed 8 million people to come into our country illegally. If you try to come into our country today legally, you are a sucker. You are a sucker. All you have to do is present yourself at the southern border.
I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, how many times, if you've watched places like Fox News, how many times have you seen the guy at the border talking to the people that are coming across? What are you coming to America for? I need a job. Well, you know it's illegal to cross the border, right? Yeah. and you don't care, right? No, don't care. Need job. I mean, that's just where we are. But this is what infuriates me about the current president of the United States, because that man has repeatedly told us for 3 years that he can't fix it. He wasn't the one that broke it. He can't fix it. The problem was he was the one that broke it. Now, I don't agree with Donald Trump having to do most of what he did with the border through executive order either, because I think the only thing those things should be used for is pardoning turkeys. But at the same time, when you have a majority and you can't even get your own party to agree that you need to do something about the border, only because nobody has made it clear to everyone how bad it was, other than you and everybody, even in your own party, it was not that bad. No, it wasn't that bad because they wanted the open border for different reasons. The only reason this is being changed, and the only reason that both sides are now seriously looking at fixing it, is because of governors like Ron DeSantis and Governor Greg Abbott, because they have made the country aware of how bad the immigration problem and the migration problem really is. Look, America is a home of immigrants. That is the truth. There's a reason we have a lady standing in a harbor with a poem that reads, "Give us your tired, you're hungry, you're poor, those yearning to be free." The problem with that is, and I keep having to re-explain this to people, we don't mind immigrants. We don't want people that come here without the express purpose of becoming part of our country. And if you're coming here illegally, that means you're not doing it. And the thing that the left never wants to talk about is the reason why we have these rules in the first place. Because we as a nation typically look back at the things that we have done and the things that we have been through and try to make sure that we don't have to do them again, especially when it would be time for the shoe to be on the other foot. We have the immigration policies that we have because we were looking at our history and what happened with the people that were already here when we started settlement colonies, and we didn't want the same thing to happen. So that's why we started having policies that started controlling how people were able to get in here. What nobody else talks about is every other country on the planet is allowed to do it too. We're the only ones that are told, well, you shouldn't have these rules because you have the Statue of Liberty with the poem that says this. Well, first of all, the poem was added later. Second of all, we are allowed to make our own laws, just like every other country is allowed to make their own laws. You can't go in, you do not go into a country and get treated to your laws that you came from. You get treated to theirs. The problem with that being the case here is, for some reason, we've decided, and again, on the face of it, I kind of understand it, because our Constitution says that the rights that are outlined in it are not granted by the government, but are granted by God. So I understand the bleeding heart liberals that are like, well, if we're going to say the rights are granted by God, then how can we take them away from people when they come across the border? Same reason you do it with people that have broken your laws and actually done so, without it being a kangaroo court. Because now we have to say that too. But here we sit. We now have a president who for 3 years told us that he couldn't fix it. For the last 6 months has been, get Congress to do their thing and I'll fix it. And then Congress didn't do their thing and now he's trying to fix it. But he's still talking about up to 2 million people annually being able to come across our border before anybody can do anything about it. I don't understand that. And this has a lot of the same things that the Langford bill had that I was so pissed off about. Like the fact that even after a certain threshold has been passed, it's not that they turn them away anymore. It's that they say, hey, you need to go 100 yards that way and actually go through the port of entry right there. And then we will process you and find out if whatever you're coming in for qualifies as needing asylum. Now, the other thing is, while we've been barely paying attention, Joe Biden basically just granted a mass amnesty at the same time that he was forgiving student loan debt. Now, this is the same person who keeps trying to tell everyone in America that no one is above the law. Apparently, that is except him, because he's allowed to rule by edict, and he's allowed to do end runs around the SCOTUS, and nobody's supposed to say anything, because America's grandpa is being America's grandpa and giving everybody candy. So just hush. That's what we get told all the time. He's just being America's grandpa. Leave him alone. No, he's not being America's grandpa. He's being a freaking... I don't have a nice way to say it, so I'm probably not gonna. All right, so one more bit that I wanted to talk about for sure. Well, I guess we have this one too. Dude, I may not actually get through all my notes today. I have to save some of this for Jen and Rick tonight. Speaking of which, don't forget to come back this evening. We do have Disasters in the Making. I believe that one kicks off at 8 Eastern, and then Jen and I will be on at 10 Eastern. I guess I need to figure out something to do on the every other 2 weeks, because there's a gap. I don't like gaps. Anyway, so, again, not a huge fan of the guy that you guys are about to hear from, just being honest, but he does bring up something that I didn't know, which also has me more than a little concerned. All right, hang on, that didn't do what it was supposed to do. Probably because it was... All right, so let's do that.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to alert the House and the country to the latest boondoggle in foreign policy executed by President Biden. And this time, it's the decision we've made to become the Port Authority of Gaza. This pier has been a debacle at a cost of $320 million. In 2 weeks, we have not even distributed 1,000 metric tons of food aid. And in 3 months, the entire pier has to be dismantled because of rising seas and impermissible weather conditions. So at most, we're going to be able to deliver about 7,000 metric tons of food at a cost of $320 million. Now, I don't know much about what a metric ton is, but I know what the price per pound is. This is $20,730 a pound for food. So if you are in, like, preparations for your summer barbecue and you think your grocery bills are too high, know that you, the American taxpayer, are incurring debt to send food to Gaza at a cost of $20,730 a pound. I yield back.
$20,700 a pound. I don't know what that's a pound of, but all I can say is, holy crap. $20,700 per pound. I mean, this reminds me of the waste and spending reports that come out every year. And we used to laugh when they were telling us, you know, well, they spent $120,000 on seeing if shrimp could run on a treadmill. I kind of miss the shrimp on the treadmill. At least, you know, for that, you know, start talking about shrimp on a treadmill, and you can at least, you know, start doing things like this. While you're talking about shrimp on treadmills, you can't really play this kind of music when you're talking about the federal government flushing $20,000 per pound down the toilet for food for people that want us dead. Am I the only one who's upset by this? This is why I'm trying to play some funny music behind it, because it's getting pretty close to the end of the show. I don't want to scream. I don't want to yell. I've only got like 15 minutes left, and I really don't want to do it, but they're making me want to do it. They really are. They're really making me want to do it. But anyway, so yeah, in case you didn't know, we're spending $20,000 per pound bringing food into Gaza. Does it make you feel as much like it makes me feel that we live in a clown show? That we're in some sort of weird, you know, alternate reality that at some point everything changed and we missed it somehow? Because it's really starting to feel that way for me. I wish it wasn't, but it is. And it's only going to get worse. That's the part that, I mean, that's the part that's the most frustrating. Because if you think it's bad now, we are now less than 5 months from Election Day. Think of how much worse it's going to get when you've already got Burke screaming that we need to be testing every cow and every dairy worker. Think of how much worse it's going to get when we start finding out more and more of all of the different ways that our federal government is wasting our money. I said this on X today, and I'm going to say it again, and this came about because, again, talked about this a little bit yesterday, people screaming and yelling that the Senate should be organized like the House and that it should be based on population. The reason it's not, ladies and gentlemen, is because before the 17th Amendment, the states got to pick who their senators were. So when the founders designed our bicameral House, our bicameral legislature, what they basically did was give a voice to the people inside of that, and then also give a voice to the states so that each had at least a form of a say in what was happening. Because remember, a state is technically its own group, its own thing. It's why, the person that does, things with other countries inside the administration is called, Secretary of State. There's a reason that word was used. There's a reason that word was chosen. But so before the 17th Amendment, the people got a say in who their representatives were, the state got a say in who their representatives were, and then the two sides had to agree. The 17th Amendment screwed that up. I'm telling you right now, between the 16th Amendment and the 17th Amendment, those two amendments, by and large, destroyed our founders' vision for this country. Because our founders envisioned a country where the government had to come to you to tell you what it wanted to do with your money before you decided whether you were going to give them your money, which is why they felt taxed. I mean, that's part of the reason why we went to war with England in the first place, is overtaxation, too much taxation, and especially taxation without representation. They didn't want the federal government to be able to directly levy taxes, so they didn't build that in. The states were allowed to, but the federal government wasn't. If the federal government wanted funding, it had to explain its position to the people, tell them what exactly it wanted to do. And don't forget, before the 16th was passed, it wasn't even really the federal government, at least not for very long. Before that it was the general government, because it really only had 3 jobs. Whether you realize it or not, whether you like it or not, and this is going to put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, but we're almost at the end of the show, so I might as well do it anyway. The Civil War was not about what you think it was about. Ending slavery was a byproduct, not the cause. Ending slavery was how Lincoln was able to rally everyone to the call, because there was a nation that was coming apart. He felt like he needed to bring it back together, but it was also the step to start doing away with the 10th Amendment, which has largely fallen away, whether anybody really wants to admit it or not. But part of that is because of the fact that there were a lot of changes to how this country functioned after the Civil War. Lincoln took steps to bring us lockstep together as a nation, instead of just a loose conglomeration of states coming together for mutual defense, commerce, etc. That is when the general government became the federal government. That is when the federal government started stepping all over the 10th Amendment all the time, and nobody really called him out on it, because anytime he ever tried to, well, you heard President Lincoln, a divided house cannot stand. Yes, but you taking my freedoms away cannot stand either, yet you're doing it. So then you had the 16th Amendment, which ratified the progressive income tax. And we've gone through that ad infinitum. I'm not going to do it today. Don't really have time anyway. If you want to, we actually did a crash course on it yesterday. It's actually even further back in the archives if you want to go listen. However, don't hold the audio quality against me, because I was using much different equipment up until recently. Content was great. Quality, Anyway. It's what you get for listening to one of those videos that says, hey, if you're trying to do podcasting, you don't need this, you don't need that, you really just need this. And then I was like, we'll do it then. And anyway. All right. Sorry, got sidetracked. But so then the 16th Amendment got passed, and then we became the batteries powering the very government that a lot of us can't stand. Instead of them having to come to us hat in hand, Oliver Twist style, they started coming to us Spacely Sprocket style. Mr. Spacely style. Because they didn't need to have hat in hand anymore, because they didn't need to ask permission. They made it to where they could get into our checks before we ever got our checks. And it became every politician's wet dream, because every pie-in-the-sky project known to man started being funded, and every business that latched onto that government teat from then and that day forward has done everything they can to elevate their costs. Because it's the government. And as a capitalist, I'm not necessarily saying that I'm completely opposed to this idea. I am, however, opposed to them taking away the most Republican form of finance a nation had ever seen. Because before that, the government was required to be much smaller because it had to get approval from us for everything. Oh, you want to build a new road between Texas and Oklahoma? That's great. How much is it going to cost? Oh, it'll be about X amount of dollars. Okay, well, we'll let the public know, and then if they like the idea, they can buy the bonds to support it. And if they don't, then I guess you don't get your road. That's how things used to work. That's how things really should still be working. But we screwed it up. Then you take the 17th Amendment, which stopped the states from being able to appoint their senators, and put those up for a popular vote election, much like with the other side of the Congress critters, and you've basically changed the entire face of the Republic of the United States of America. Because we were a government of the people, by the people, for the people, funded by the will of the people, and now we're funded by the will of the politicians. And there used to have to be an agreement between the citizens and the states to get things done in this country. There's a reason that the quicker that we have tried to do things and the faster that we have tried to move towards what the left calls progress, the more and more this country shakes apart. It wasn't designed to move this quickly. It was designed to be slow. On purpose. There were checks and balances in place to make sure that not one person could get too much power, so that we wound up with a George Washington Bible. Or even, hell, a George W. Bush Bible. Because that wasn't what the founders wanted. The founders wanted we the people to be able to decide our own destiny. Our government's taken that away from us, and we've let them. I think that's the scariest part for me, if I'm just being completely honest today. That's the scariest part for me, is that we've just let them. They took our freedoms from us, and we let them. The people at the time of the ratification of the 16th Amendment, they willingly gave over control of their wallet. Because it was 1%, and it was only 1% on the uber wealthy. So what exactly problem is that going to be for most of America at that point? It was a 1% income tax on people making above X amount of dollars, and most of the people that voted to ratify it weren't even the ones making the money. But that was the beginning of the end of how this country used to be. And it's sad. It really is. That we are probably witnessing especially if something doesn't change by November. We're witnessing the end of the country, and I don't say that lightly. And I wish I didn't have to say it at all, because I know everybody. Because I've listened to talk radio for forever before I started doing it. I know that everybody since freaking Bush 41. Oh my God! Blah, 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 blah. It's going to be the end of America. I know, everybody's really tired of hearing it. The problem is they weren't necessarily wrong. It's just been moving a lot more incrementally slowly than a lot of us thought it was. Except we're not moving very slowly anymore. All right, so I think we might have time to sneak in one more quick story. Maybe. Let's see what this one is. Oh, so this could be interesting. This is from Leah Bukakis, sorry. Former MSDNC producer explains why she left in blistering letter. What it's like behind the scenes at MSD. What is it like exactly behind the scenes at MSDNC? Ratings and politics were at the core of every editorial decision, according to one former producer, forcing skilled journalists to make bad decisions on a daily basis. In a letter about her July 24th departure from MSDNC, Ariana Peccary explains why she left. It's possible that I'm more sensitive to the editorial process due to my background in public radio, where no decision I ever witnessed was predicated on how a topic or a guest would rate. The longer I was at MSDNC, that's me editorializing, not the writer, by the way, the more I saw such choices. It's practically baked into the editorial process, and those decisions affect news content every day, she writes on her personal website. Likewise, it's taboo to discuss how the rating scheme distorts content, or it's simply taken for granted because everyone in the commercial broadcast news industry is doing the exact same thing. Peccary describes this as a cancer that stokes national division amid the civil unrest in the country and risks human lives during the pandemic and threatens our democracy with the election coming up. The model blocks diversity of thought and content because the networks have incentive to amplify fringe voices and events at the expense of others, all because it pumps up the ratings, she writes. Regarding coronavirus coverage, amplifying President Trump's failures was at the center of MSNBC's strategy, rather than the science itself. At times, producers would choose a story without regard to ratings, but these were rare exceptions, she explains. I've heard producers deny their role as journalists, she writes. A very capable senior producer once said, "Our viewers don't really consider us the news, they come to us for comfort." She closes by embracing the uncertainty of 2020, hoping to connect with her followers. More than ever, I'm craving a full and civil discourse, she says. I happen to agree with Grey Wolf. I don't know why this is coming up at like it was today, though. This is from August 4th, 2020. I don't know why. Anyway. Sorry. When I ran the search for Town Hall, this actually showed up like it was a new story. I thought it was interesting, though, even if it is 4 years old, because I didn't even know that happened. All right, so this could be interesting. Hang on. Let me get it fixed first. Well, this is Larry, though, too, so. I may actually cut this down a little bit and use it tomorrow for more of the Fun Friday thing, because this is just the... Yeah, there's some good stuff here, but we'll probably save it for tomorrow. So, again, we talked about this earlier, and if I can find a decent enough cut of it, I am probably going to make a video montage for tomorrow. But anyway, so in case you're wondering, it is D-Day, the anniversary of D-Day, 80 years ago today. And just because we can, we're going to go out kind of the way we came in, because Joe bombed Normandy today, and it was bad. He bombed Normandy, and he bombed in Normandy. I don't really know which one of those two things is worse, but because we can, we're going to kind of go out the way we came in, sort of, because this gives me an excuse to play this again, and I absolutely love this. This is one of the things I miss about having the Third Rail Ramblers, which if you guys want to check them out, you can. Their work is still archived on our stuff. We actually used to have an in-house parody band way, way, way back in the day. I miss them so much on times like today, because while this is awesome, I do have to say I think if they had done it, it may have been even better. And that's not detracting from the person who made this, at least not intentionally. I'm just biased because they're my friends, and I miss them doing these kind of things. All right, so we're going to go out the way we came in. There will not be a this is not going to be standard show close for those of you that are used to it. As soon as this is done, we're going to just shut down the feed. So
When you are waiting to speak and you feel something leak, diarrhea, diarrhea. When you look over at Jill and your stomach feels ill, diarrhea, diarrhea. When your name is Joe, but you really gotta go. Diarrhea, diarrhea. When you are waiting to speak and you feel something leak, diarrhea, diarrhea. When you are waiting the troops and you really got the poop. When you're wobbling on the stage and your sphincter won't engage, diarrhea, diarrhea. When you aren't honoring the troops and you really got the poops. When you're wobbling on the stage and your sphincter won't engage, diarrhea, diarrhea.
all right, folks, that's going to do it for this episode. This has been the Rick Robinson Show, live on KLRradio.com. Don't forget, we'll be back tonight. Make sure you come hang out for Disasters in the Making, and then Jen and I will be back tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. For those of you paying attention on the stream, bye, everybody. We're shutting that one down now. For those of you paying attention on the radio side, those are going away now, too. So you guys have a great, wonderful rest of your Thursday, and thank you so much for hanging out with me today.